Hi there. Say I'm in front of the camera for a change rather than behind. Whether that's a good thing or not, so I'll let you decide. But you can always mention something in the comments. If you would like to like and subscribe, that would be great. But I suppose you better see the video first. The name's Terry. I go by the non-de-plume Dead Man, only because that seemed to be the way it was done a few years ago. Nobody seemed to put their right name down, they just put their real name down. They used to put something else, so that's why I chose Dead Man, because he was a favourite of one of my comic characters. I've been collecting best part of 60 years now of comic books, trading cards, statues, coffee cups, or whatever, loads and loads of different things over the years. But I've always collected comics for virtually all of those 60 years. I sold my collection back in '84. Rude the day I did it, but there you go. I think a lot of people have done it, especially when you see the prices of some of the books that I used to have. And one book in the collection was more than I got for the whole lot of them, as I said, a few thousand. But recently, I mean, I've been buying, I sold them in '84. I started collecting books again in '86, and I continued to this present day. I have tried to replicate some of my collection. I would never ever be able to replace all of it. It would take too much money, too much time, and I haven't got the space. But I began with Action Comics and Superman, getting back to 1957. I'm trying it with other titles that went back that far, namely Batman and Detective Comics. I haven't managed to do that yet. I've only got back into the 70s with those, but I will show those in future videos if people are interested. But what I would like to do in this video is, as I call it, a part one, and from 1957, January 1957 cover date, my Action and Superman collection. Superman collection, Superman January 1957 was issue 110, which shows you this, all the giant ants, or giant ant on the cover. Covers by Al Plastino, and so that cover always reminds me of the film Them from 1954. All the giant ants were in that one. I don't know whether that's where Al Plastino or whether the actual writer of the story got the idea from. Oh yes, because the writer actually was Bill Finger, obviously more famous for writing Batman, but he wrote the story in there, so maybe he did get the idea from that film. Now with Superman, what I should have said was that there's three separate stories in the Superman title where they're all Superman. Usually the cover story, for some reason or other, is always the third story in the back, but don't ask me why. The next issue is January 1957, and that's number 224. It is the first appearance of Superman Island, and also the last appearance of Superman Island, unless you get it mixed up with something called the Mount Olympus Correctional Facility, which was also known as Superman Island, but that didn't appear for another 22 years in Superman number 331. Also in the Action Comics there were three stories, but only one of them was Superman. He had the front story. The other two were Tommy Tomorrow and Congo Bill with his January Jungle Boy. And also in that 24 it was the first appearance of the Golden Gorilla, who becomes either a crossover, I suppose, between Congo Bill and the gorilla. It ended up being called the Golden Gorilla, but that issue comes I think in 1958, so I've got 1958 to look forward to for that one. Next issue is Superman number 111, again cover by Al Plastino. And the main stories in there were by Otto Binder and Alvin Schwartz. And the main artist for all three of in the issues there, the main artist there was Ruben Maria. that's how you pronounce the man's name. Then we have Action Comics number 225. Now this was quite a famous issue because it's the first issue that ever mentioned the death of Superman. We've obviously had the death of Superman several times since, but this was supposed to be the first time in the comic books or the paper strips or anything at all. Then we have Superman 112, that's the March issue. Let's see, that's, oh yes, this one. The story Superman's Neighbours was, according to the DC database, the first time they mentioned 344 Clinton Street, where Clark Kent lived. Thing is, in the same breath, they dispute themselves by they contradict themselves by saying it was also mentioned in Superman number 46 from May 1947. So I don't know what's true. I haven't got that copy, Superman 46, and I haven't got that much money, so I can't find out whether that's actually true or not. Next issue we had is Action Comics number 226 with a Frankenstein monster style monster on the cover. Also, I'd like to say with the Action Comics inside, there was lots of different cartoons. They were mainly by a guy called Henry Boltinoff, and the lettering was done by another chap called Gaspar Saladino. There was a number of titles. There was Shorty, Little Pete, Peg, Varsity Vic, Jerry the Jitterbug, amongst others. But they are quite funny. For their time, anyway. And then we have this one, this cover. This cover was done actually, oh sorry, I should have said, that cover actually wasn't Al Plastino for a change. That was Wayne Boring. Like this one. This was a Wayne Boring cover as well. 227. Superman story in that one. The man with the triple X-ray eyes, but they don't know who the writer was. The next issue is Superman 113. I'll show you this one. First of all, I got the Pizza Hut Collector's Edition. First of all, and then I thought, well, I better get the real thing. So I did. There it is. And that, I've got a little paper there, I forgot to say it. In that issue is actually the first 3-part story in a Superman comic, or at least in this Superman comic. Then the next cover, we're into May. That's number 228. That again is by Al Plastino, and the writer there for the Superman story was Edmund Hamilton. And then we have number 229, and this is one of my few slabs I have. Main reason I bought this slab was because I couldn't find a decent copy of this issue other than in a slab. So 5.0 looks very, very nice. There you go. Then we have Superman number 114. Is it the $1 billion debt? July cover date. coming towards the end, you'll be glad to know. We have Action Comics number 230. This again was by Al Plastino. Hopefully you can see that clearly. I'm seeing it backwards, so it makes it a bit difficult to know whether the shine's in the right place or not. That issue is a Jerry Coleman story in it, along with Wayne Boring and Stan Kay with the artists. Then we have issue 115 of Superman. Again, another Al Plastino cover. And that one, again, the story we got there. Issue 115, and that was Jerry Coleman again, and Wayne Boring and Stan Kay. Then my second slab, and that is August cover date. Got a 5.0 on that one, and let's say I bought this for the same reason. This one actually was got for me by Efrain of Passpoint Comics. He very kindly bought it for me. Well, I bought it, but he kindly got it for me at a convention. I think it was a San Diego convention. He got it for me last year. Then we have probably the worst condition book I've got. I might replace it one day when I've got a few, but I can never find it in decent condition at all. And that is Superman 116. Most of these came from America, because as you probably know, they didn't start coming over to this country, into the UK, until November 1959. So these are all virtually from America. Then we have Action Comics number 232. This was the first Kurt Swan cover in the Action collections that I've got, but he actually did, his first Superman cover was actually, on my little notes here, if I can read them, Superman number 89 from May 1954. That was the first cover. I've actually seen that cover. It's brilliant. It's a lovely cover, and I would like to get it. But then that would mean I would have to get all the fill-in issues between that and, well, 108 is the smaller, it's the earliest issue of Superman I have. Then we have Action Comics number 233, and not much to be said about this other than the story was by Coleman, Jerry Coleman, and again the interior art was Wayne Boring and Stan Kay. And then I think this is the last Superman story, or the Superman issue in 1957, and it's from November 1957, number 117. Again, again a Kurt Swan cover and Al Plastino art. And then we have Action Comics number 234, the November issue. And this was the first appearance of Golo, which is the guy that's actually or looks like the Empire State Building. He appeared here. He was a Zarian, so they reckon. And he again appeared 28 years later in Action Comics number 572, October 1985. And that was his first, or the second appearance, and the very last. Up until now anyway. And then the very last issue from 1957 is number 235, December. And that again is a Kurt Swan cover with Stan Kay inks, I assume, And I had an also binder story, and again by Weinporin and Stenke. And that is it. If you want 1958, then leave in the comments you do. If you don't, well, I'll either do it or I won't do it. It's entirely up to you. And thank you very much for watching.